All right, guys, so welcome back to the Battlefield 4 live stream. Again, I'm Corey Dunn now. I'm joined by Daniel Matros.
Yes.
It's been great because we've had the chance to be able to talk to you during day 1 and day 2, but there's new viewers that are kind of hopping in here, and we still have a lot of different types of questions that we can still ask, so we can probably kind of touch the surface on it. I know that there's actually videos that have been posted already that have been clipped out of what you and I had discussed before about spectator mode, which is completely great. You can check that out, or you can just still continue to stick around whether you're watching on twitch.tv, also on Amazon, and even battlefield.com. And of course, while you're on Amazon, you just head over and pre-order your copy of Battlefield 4 right now. So, Daniel, your team has done a great job.
Amazing job.
Right off the bat, right out of the gates. So my first question I'm going to ask, it has to be related. How long have you really been working on it from to this point right now?
The game
or no, the spectator mode?
Spectator mode. Can't give an exact.
Well, it doesn't have to be. I want the hours every hour.
Since the game started, I'd say. Since we started working on the game. So I've been sitting and like I've been wanting to tell everyone, but you can't, you know, you can't spill all the beans. So instead, we're like, let's go to E3, let's make it happen. And obviously, did a good job. So
I'm thoroughly impressed with every element that you've added into it, and it's such a short notice, a short time frame, and the fact that you were able to keep your lips sealed on not releasing a spectator mode. I mean, that's such a great thing, not only for movie makers that are out there, not only for those who like to do live streams like myself doing shoutcasts, but that's great for the esports element, the competitive gaming side. Can we go a little bit deeper into that side?
Yes. So I've received the question multiple times. Is Battlefield 4 heading towards the esports audience? And
is it?
Let me just say this. I mean, esports in general, it's a collective term for competitive games, right? I mean, anything that you play online multiplayer, where there's a clear defined result, clear defined goal, two teams playing, one wins, one loses, that is a sport.
Right.
And online, it becomes an esport.
Correct.
Right? It's a competitive game. And I think what people mean with esport nowadays, that was like way back, but nowadays they mean, is there a feature for us to, you know, is there a game mode for us to play perfect on? Is there a feature for us to, you know, show off our stuff on as spectator mode, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And to say this, Battlefield 3 was big in online competitive multiplayer. We had tens of thousands of Euro tournaments going on from Samsung, Alienware, it was Razer's has competitions, DreamHack had competitions, ESL. I mean, all of that stuff was coming, but it's going to be even bigger for Battlefield 4.
That's just something to really note. The fact that, Daniel, it's great to hear from a developer that knows about the communities. You mentioned ESL, you mentioned DreamHack. The fact that you know those exist.
I used to play at ESL. My first account was registered in 2001.
That's pretty awesome.
That was way back in the day, clan-based as well.
The fact, again, it just goes back to the fact that you know that the team knows that this exists, and is actually making strides to make things easier for us to make things happen. So again, the observer mode has been great. Now I'm going to go ahead and ask some other questions. I didn't pre-inform you on this, so you can answer at your leisure. How many different spots can we join in a spectator mode?
Right now, we're looking at somewhere around 4.
Around 4?
On the one server.
Okay.
So 4 people simultaneously can watch a match, watch a game, and then they can stream it out. But first-hand on the server.
I think
looking at around 4.
That right there is great. The reason being because typically you have your 2 shoutcasters. They need a position, but then there's also those who like to have a really cinematographer, an element to it, that cinema element, where they can sit there and get those great angles. You already gave some really great things as well with the camera presets, but there's also those who like to switch between 2 additional elements.
You can have anti-cheat admin
spectating,
you can have commentary spectating, you can have a judge or a referee spectating. So I mean, we need to open up slots for letting people with different roles come in. I
think 4 is a great number. I mean, of course, everyone wants to have some type of number being infinite, but the reality of it all, there has to be a number. And I'm happy you didn't say 2 or just 1, because that would have broke my heart right off the bat.
I myself, I felt that, why not 100?
Why not 100?
But then again, I mean, you can't have the server size of 50 million cars combined. So You got to work slowly. So I think 4 is a good number, but going above 4 in a very 5, maybe 6 could also be good. So we'll see. Nothing is decided yet, but we're looking at around 4.
Oh, so the next thing that I have to bring up is, can we set a delay on our spectator side? Because for those that say, for instance, we're doing online matches, and I hop into a server watching the game, but I don't have the capability on my side. I'm new into this whole streaming thing, hypothetical, and but I can't set the delay on my stream. Can I set the delay in the spectator mode at this point?
So what we're looking at now, so all those details we're going to start looking at like when I get back. I'm actually going heading to a flight in like 20 minutes.
Hey, well, I'm happy that we're able to get the last minute with you, especially for me, because I love the spectating
So when I go
side.
back to Stockholm, we're going to take a look at the more finer details, like the more, okay, these edge cases need to be resolved. But for now, we just like threw in the UI and made the cameras and all that kind of stuff just to, get it up. So more details will come.
That's what, again, you didn't give me a no, and that's what I was looking for. A maybe is always okay with me, especially in pre-alpha stages.
Yeah, definitely.
So one of the other things that's been a lot of questions, people wanted to see commander mode. Will you be able to spectate, I know it's a tabletop view, but will you be able to really spectate what the commander is doing, or does it even make sense to even have ability to spectate the commander when you have tabletop?
So for now, you can see what the commander is doing tabletop.
Can we go into tabletop real fast for us, please?
So you can basically see the Tomahawk right there, you see the UAV flying around there. So you can see these things using the tabletop. You can see what the different commanders are doing. To spectate a single commander, we haven't really made that into this build yet, and we don't know if that's going to come in. So we're going to give it some time. We're going to think about it, look at the feedback, and see what everyone says.
All right, so I'm a big fan of this. I'm about to go on a rain of different ideas with you. Just have fun writing.
There's a lot of stuff you can do. It's fun too.
All right, so question 1: wouldn't it be cool if you could only have the capability of saying, I just want to see where the infantry is. I don't want to see tanks. I don't want to see helicopters.
To apply filters, that's also something we've been thinking about. But then again, there's so much we want to do. So I would love to see filters for infantry, filters for vehicles, filters for team recognition, all that kind of stuff. That would be awesome. Or just like blackening out parts of the map just to show one single flag battle. That would be really cool to have. Make it more dynamic in a way. We'll see what happens, though. I know there's a few months left until launch.
Okay, and so there's other types of games that are out there that kind of have the point of view of the player, what he can see. So let's go ahead into a first-person view of a player right now. And when we hop on here, we have the ability, we want as much information as possible. So that's why we can see each of the icons that are out there that are designated for each team. We can see green is the squad member. So we're getting his perspective of the game right now. To a point.
Yeah, this is everything the player sees.
So is there ever going to be a possibility, or could we talk about the idea of having a feature where we can see exactly what he sees in terms of the different player icons? So for instance, he can't see every single defensive player, an opponent. Could we ever have that ability, or do you think that's within talks?
I think that's something we have to work on. That's some feedback we have to take a look at and work on, because initially we thought spectating a first-person player, sure, we want to see what he sees, but we also want to include the whole context of the game into the first person. Never mind if he sees everyone or not. So I mean, it's a battle of 2 designs basically. We just have to overview which one makes more sense, which one doesn't make sense.
So
put them together, put them in a cage and let them fight.
Exactly. So one of the things that if I had an opinion at all, would you just sit there and say all information is better than the few? But having the ability to toggle between the two would be unreal.
Yeah, that would be unreal. That would be really, really good.
So
there's so much to do.
You can hire me for a couple weeks if you'd like. I'm just bragging on you. and all I really want is the dice dog tags for, or maybe a contractual dice employee.
We'll hook you up. Don't worry about that. You've got third person as well. The third person is basically over the shoulder type of camera. You can move it around. You see the player card, what equipment he has. You see the ammo count. You see the health bar. See what rank he's going to have, and all that kind of stuff. All the details are important. And for more versions that are coming up, the player card you'll be able to display it in first person as well. It's not only third person, which is very important because the player card is basically your jacket. You want to see, it's like hockey cards or whatever it is.
Exactly.
And that's third person cam. My favorite camera.
That's phenomenal. One of the things to note as well for those of at home that haven't really had the chance to see third person, we can see that right now he's got a Scout Elite in his hands. We can see exactly what type of attachments. This is exactly what's in his hands currently right now. So if he switched to his pistol, we would see all the different benefits, all the different attachments that come along with the pistol. So we really are completely informed of what this player has in his inventory.
Yep. And we also have a free cam.
Yep.
We can move over to. This is our, as I said before, this is our cinematic cam. This is where you can make your movies, basically. You have 5 different place cams. You place around the map. And so here's one thing that I noticed watching competitive games is that it's so difficult to follow an FPS.
Agreed.
When you watch other RTS games or MOBA games, it's very easy to follow because it's a 1 versus 1 communication. What I see is what I get.
Exactly.
You know?
Well, it's also a top-down view for majority of the game, and you're looking at all the units, especially a 32 versus 32. It's not about the individual per se. Now there can be highlight moments from the individual, but it's definitely difficult to capture every single moment that happens.
So that's what I think. Like watching FPS, I love watching FPS games. I love
as do I.
So I watch them a lot, and I feel attached to the experience, but I also feel detached because I cannot see what's going on everywhere, like in an RTS game. So that is also a good idea with a free cam. You have 5 different place cams. You can place them around the map. You can toggle between them, which basically gives you an arena overview. That is also good for movie makers who want to make incredible movies.
Well, so one of the things that we're seeing too, I mean, if you want to talk about your TNTs or in the U.S. side, your different sports channels that are out there, that they get that cinematic value where they sit there and do the sweeping cam view, and we can do that in this game. And a shout out to the camera guy as well, who's been controlling it all event long here at
Douglas
E3.
and Yap up there. Good job.
They have been doing an incredible job. At one moment, I saw a sweeping cam where it also rotated, pivoted around a point, and it was just, I wasn't casting at the time. I would have given you a shout out at that point. But again, you just see this again. It just feels like a movie. Now, for those that are saying, well, what about that? We've got to still have a HUD up on top of the screen. We still have something that's kind of blocking our view.
Blocking our cinematic view. Oh, first off, everyone in the chat, give a shout out to Douglas and Yap, right?
Yeah, right now.
Give a shout out. So basically, everything you can toggle is you're going to be able to toggle that away. So you're going to be able to have a clean screen where you remove all the HUD. All the UI that is basically directing you and saying free cam, third person, all that stuff. You just remove that. It become a completely clean screen. You can record off of that clean screen using traps, whatever it is.
Right. Will that also include the capability of toggling on and off the players as well, the icons above their head?
Yes.
So, again,
that is the plan, though.
So again, there's just so many different elements that your team has already covered, and it's been phenomenal.
And I mean, if you look at the design, it's a very simple design. You know, it's not a very advanced design. You don't have 50 under tabs under what you're seeing right now. You don't have different menus for everything. It's all there. You tab around in 2 different tabs and just see what you see. And if you bring down the scoreboard, you'll be able to double click and go into first-person view.
That right there is just
that's how easy it is.
Unreal. The fact that you can sit there and just switch quickly to a player. Right now, we're at one of the players who are top on the leaderboard.
Nice
and we can really see why. Utilizing that Scout Elite. Scout's one of my favorite.
So our whole idea with everything was like, keep it simple, but keep it really good. It needs to be good. So, and I'm really happy about it. The team has done an amazing job.
So, again, we've covered all the different aspects. For those that were questioning about getting the chance to really see Commander Mode, tabletop is basically that. And first-person view, we really get perspective from each of the players in real time. Third-person view, again, it just gives you so much more information, allowing you to know all the different attachments, what their KDR is at that point. For those that don't know, kill-death ratio, and just a lot of other just great elements that are involved. And this is just a beautiful moment where he's just trying to take a look, but of course he has that glare on his sniper rifle that kind of gave him away.
He's pretty good though.
He was playing extremely well.
Right over there.
This has been, again, one of my favorite interviews through the process is talking with you and about the spectator mode. Of course, it's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, I love this spectator. I could talk about this the whole time.
I'm trying to think of some really just in-depth stuff that that I probably have overlooked at this point. But
so I can say this. This is, as it is, it's a pre-alpha. You know,
yes.
So there's a lot more cool stuff coming to the game, and to the spectator mode and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, just wait, people.
I do want to talk about one thing that you had brought up yesterday and the day before, is that whenever you go from your tabletop view, let's go and switch to that for just a moment. In your tabletop view, it's very similar to your spawning process.
Yeah.
It's very similar to what the commander sees.
Yeah.
It's very synonymous across the board. So that way you can sit there and you're used to it. It's an environment that's not unusual. So you can hop directly into a spectator mode.
If you click once on any player, you can see the mini map says, okay, this is what the player's doing. If you double click, it will jump into the person's first person view. So I mean, basically, the game is a game. That's the base.
Yep.
And we build off of that. And you have to keep a universal approach. Otherwise, you're just going to confuse people.
I think honestly, so just staying in this view right now, I love the fact that you can see the plane flying around and for the UAV scans.
I love this view.
and so it just gives you the capability. You have all of the information that you need. One of the things that would be interesting from a commander's perspective, he can see exactly where those circles are. You can see the diameter, the circumference of the circle for that area. Also, I think
someone needs to drop a tomahawk right there.
Yeah, so you can
Someone needs to drop that.
And for that A point, of course, takes 15 seconds. Also.